Good morning.
Good morning.
And we are joined here today with, could you please introduce yourself?
My name is Therese Eller.
Yeah.
From Houston, Texas.
And what do you do, Teresa?
I do SharePoint, a lot of front end, a lot of PowerShell, anything except write code.
Okay, so you don't have the developer mindset.
I don't,
Yeah, okay.
and I'm proud of that.
Okay, that's cool. All right, so today we are at SharePoint Saturday Toronto, and you're doing an introduction to SharePoint PnP PowerShell. So could you enlighten us what is this session about?
Sure, we're actually going to take a look at how to set up the SharePoint Online PowerShell management, the console, and then we're going to take a look at importing the module for PnP.
Yeah.
And then we're actually going to look at a script for extracting a template from a publishing site and applying that template to a brand new site. Something that you've never been able to officially save a publishing site as a template. So now with PnP we can.
Yeah.
And it's one of the many great uses of PnP.
Okay, but this is a little bit like sounds of like developers would sometimes also do that because they are also involved in the PnP process, so they have to do that.
Absolutely, they are, and the session is actually on the developer track. So challenging myself to grow, but also it's something that IT pros can get a lot out of. It's PowerShell, so IT pros are used to doing PowerShell. It's a new set of commandlets, but the basic verb-noun applies. And there's some great documentation on GitHub. Yeah. And if you just go through that, you can learn it all by yourself, or you can come to my session. Yeah.
But just one question about the PnP and PowerShell. Where do you see PowerShell? Like that back in the days, PowerShell was still there, like in a couple of years before, but now it's more and more getting utilized in what we do. So where do you see the PowerShell in the future? Do you see it's just replacing most of the things that administrators would do in their like day-to-day work? Or are there going to be like other tools that they're going to be also in place in order for help administrators to do their work, not only for PnP as well?
The most popular PnP engine is the provisioning, and that's where I see PowerShell being used the most, is to actually replicate or build in mass, or just something that you spend a lot of time building one site and then you need to replicate it, let's say for even a dev or test environment. It makes it easy, and also you can build something and test or dev and bring it over into production. It's going to make life a lot easier, not just for the administrators but also for the business users who want something. It's not going to be as difficult to build it, test it, and move it over. It'll take less time, so they should see an improvement in how much time it takes for them to get their solutions.
Yeah, but I think as well, like some administrators tend to love the let's say graphical interfaces rather than with PowerShell, though PowerShell is really powerful. But what's your take on that?
I think that anyone still using SharePoint on premises is definitely still going to use central admin and lots of other graphical interfaces. A lot of it is that's what they know. So with PowerShell, they're still going to use regular PowerShell, but if they're smart, they'll also get into PnP just because it can make their lives easier, and they can actually look great. Say, oh well, something that used to take 3 days to do, I can now do in half a day. So maybe they can go from working 60 hours a week down to 59.
That's great. And how long have you been using PowerShell?
I've been using PowerShell for about 4 years, I think. started out taking a class at a Microsoft Office and learned a little bit and just enough to understand the concept and kind of just grow every time I need to do something that I can't do through a graphical interface. My first go-to is PowerShell, and I also have learned a lot from other people in the community. When I started trying to figure out how to copy a template from a publishing site, someone on Twitter actually pointed me in the direction of PnP. The Office Dev PnP Twitter account gave me a lot of support, and I just fell in love with it because and now I'm used to using, because of PnP, I'm more comfortable using just normal PowerShell. And again, I don't necessarily write scripts from scratch because usually what I'm trying to do, somebody's already written. I just need to modify what they've done. GitHub has been great for that. I've found search display templates and obviously the provisioning templates, but there's a lot out on GitHub for people who want to either start using PowerShell or do more with it.
I see. Well, that's pretty much good information about PowerShell. Yeah, well, thank you very much for your time, Teresa. I really enjoyed our talk here, and hope to see you at other SharePoint Saturdays as well. Probably we chat about other sessions that you do over there. Thank you very much.
Thanks for having me.